Hello, and welcome to the Green Grassroots of Football with me, Andy Glover. This time I'm on my own because I'm recording in Marbella. I'm on football tour. So I have a special guest with me who I will pass over to in a minute to introduce himself. And this one is going to be about education and grassroots and what young footballers can do after their 5 years of senior school finishes and how they can apply themselves in different ways and just usual A-levels, as it were. But I'll pass myself over to my guest first, and if he can introduce himself and give a bit of history about himself and what his journey was, basically, from growing up. So.
Oh God, wow. Name's Carl Dickinson. I've been lucky enough to play professional football for, I think it was around 20 years. Over 500 games. Played for some fantastic football clubs. I came through the youth system. Well, I originally started around 10 years old at Derby County. I was playing for my dad's team at Sunday grassroots. Got picked up by Derby. Was there till I was 14, 15. Got told I'd never be a footballer.
As a lot do.
Yeah. So left Derby, signed for Stoke City. I made my debut 2 years later as a 17-year-old. And came through the youth system there. I was lucky enough to be part of the promotion winning squad to the Premier League with Stoke. Played for a lot of other clubs on loan. Barnsley, Blackpool, Leeds, Portsmouth, Barnsley, etc. Coventry. Then signed for Watford. Then Port Vale, then Notts County, and finished my full-time career, as it were, at Yeovil Town. And then transitioned from that full-time football scene to player manager role, a team called Hamley Town. Really enjoyed that. We got promotion in the first season. Then, the money stuff starts where all of a sudden they haven't got money, so you have to go. And I've played for a few non-league teams, and it's ultimately led me to coaching as well throughout that period. I was lucky enough to be part of the staff at Hartlepool. I was assistant manager at Hartlepool United. And then, I've transitioned into a full-time coach with what is my current role now with 433.
Okay, thank you very much. So, so you're a coach at 433. So looking at your playing career, what experiences do you draw most when you're coaching the young players?
I try and think of, in terms of sessions, what I liked. I know people aren't going to like what I like, so I try and vary it a hell of a lot. But for me, it's about, does the session look real? Does it transfer over to games? And within that, is it going to test themselves mentally, physically? Are they going to learn from it? What is my main goal of the session? So could it be, I want my team to counter-attack better? Okay, how are we going to do that? What's that going to look like? Don't get me wrong, things change and it doesn't always look like what you think it's going to do. So things you have to adapt as well in terms of numbers, etc. But for me, the biggest thing is with a session, is it competitive? Is it real to the modern game? And what messages can they get from the session?
Yeah.
And to test themselves. For me, a hell of a lot of it is mental. And that's why I always want my sessions to be high tempo, work rate, aggressive, but also have that quality inside the session.
How long have you been with 433? Is this your first year?
Yeah, this is my first year. I joined in July 2025. yeah, it had been sorted for a little bit with Kev, and I love coaching. I love being out on the grass. I love trying to help young players develop and try and go and have the best careers they can have at whatever level, because I was lucky enough to do it as a job, as they say it. But no, if I can help anyone go and just experience a little bit of what I was lucky enough to experience, then that'll make me happy.
Yeah. What's the biggest differences you see between the football at the professional level and the sort of the grassroots or academy development?
One is quality. Two is the mental side of it. You can tell the difference between the ones that want to be footballers or like the idea of being a footballer, and what they're willing to sacrifice to get to the levels they want to get to. And what does your daily routines look like? Are you doing extras away from just the training sessions? Are you in the gym? Are you recovering right? Are you eating right? Are you sleeping right? All those little things. That's why the elite are the elite, because they do that down to a T, boringly, day in, day out. And that is why they are where they are. And and they do that to an extreme level. And that is the difference between, don't get me wrong, there's some good players at grassroots, okay, but I always find it, maybe they lack a bit of physicality, but more often than not it is the mentality of players.
So you said this is your first year, and you said quality, mentality. How are you dealing with that for someone who's come from that environment where everyone around you has got that top level quality, that top level mentality, to now you've had a year where the people you're dealing with haven't? I know you're not playing with them, but you're coaching them, and they've not come along with the mentality, not supposed to quality because you expect that, but the mentality that you're expecting them to come with, and players don't come with that. How are you sort of dealing with that now?
It's tough at times, I must admit, it is tough at times, but for me is where I try and then get to know the individual a hell of a lot more. What is it they actually want to be, and what are they willing to do to get to that? And if some don't, that's fair enough. That's fine. That's what they want to do. The people that do want to do it but may not be at a certain level yet, is can I then get the message over in a simpler way for them? Some people just, you say stuff and they get it. Some don't. Okay, so my thinking is then, all right, okay, how can I make my message better so that you understand? And I don't always get it right. I don't. Sometimes I do. Get frustrated with it. But like I say, if some of these boys were at that level now, they'd be there.
Yeah.
And that's the reality of it. Not all, 99%, even the ones that are in the elite academies already, 99% of them aren't going to play at the top level. And that's just the reality of it. These kids, some are on different paths. Some might not be in the professional world, but they can still go and have a decent career at non-league level. So that's what I'm trying to get through to their brains at the minute. I think they think because they're not at professional clubs that it's done. It's not. You never know. You could go to a non-league team, do well, all of a sudden, a couple of years down the line, you've gone, oh my God, I was playing grassroots level, now I'm playing part-time in step 3, 2, all of a sudden I'm going, oh my God, I've got a chance of going full-time. And it happens. You see it happen more and more now as well. But yeah, like I say, it is frustrating at times, when you want to just go say simple stuff and it doesn't click straight away. So, and like I said earlier, in terms of the elite, repetition and how much they can take on through that repetition. Some take a bit longer, but that's literally what it is. Just keep relaying the messages day in, day out, and hopefully you get to that point where everyone, has that little switch and you go, now I get it. So, yeah.
Okay. How do you balance teaching technical skills with encouraging creativity and passion?
For me, they have to have the basics. Can you receive a ball properly? Can you pass a ball properly? Those things for me, personally, are the two big things. Then we go into, right, how can you turn? How do you use your outside of your foot? Can you use the inside? All those other little bits, what's your body shape like? Your hips, etc. All of that. Are you scanning to receive? Are you doing everything? And yeah, from that, what was it? The physical? Did you say?
Oh, creativity and passion, that sort of thing.
I never want to take if someone's a dribbler, why would I take that away from them? Yeah. For me, it's if someone is a dribbler, okay, go dribble, but there's a where and a when. Okay, it's I'd love watching players. I love watching creative players. But at times you got to go, right, I might not be able to here, so I might have to pass the ball off to then pick up a different position to then be able to go and show my creativity. And creativity doesn't always mean with the ball. Are you creative in how you make your runs? Are you clever enough to go, right, well, the ball's over there at this point, what position can I think of 2 steps ahead maybe to go, well, if it bounces here, I might pick it up here. All those little bits, that's being creative. And I want players to express themselves, but it has to be from a base of we have to do the simple things well. Yeah. And the better we can do the simple things, that will hopefully put us in better positions to have more of the ball for them to go and be creative in the right areas and express themselves.
Yeah. What qualities or habits do you think are most important for a young player hoping to succeed in football?
Habits. How much you're willing to practice. Practice.
So just purely sort of commitment.
My God, practice. Yeah. Like I said earlier, what does your day look like? Yeah. I'm not saying you have to go out for hours. You can go out 45 minutes every day, out your day, boom, against the wall, 2 touch. Another day, boom, in the gym. All those little things. I'm going to go for a run.
Yeah. And if you're on football tour and there's a match on, it's an early start, you'd be there. Yeah, that sort of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. We might come back to that statement later.
But no, it's for me. I always wanted to be outside of the football, and we spoke about this before. It will always come down to how much you want it. It will always come back to yourself. Yeah. You can always have your help from parents, friends, but it's always going to come down to how much do you want it and what are you willing to do. And if you're willing to do it, hopefully you get that amazing chance to go and play at professional level, because it is. I count myself lucky every day. I miss it every day, and it's the best job in the world. It really is. I've been lucky enough to play for some great teams at great stadiums, and yeah, it's as quick as it goes. You do miss it day in, day out. Yeah. But now I would love to go and see I'd love to go and watch young players be in those situations, because it is. That's what it's all about. You want to be able to say, I've been lucky enough to do it, but I want to pass it all on to you, and I want you boys to go and experience it as well.
Yeah, definitely. Have you got a coaching moment or breakthrough that you've had with like a young player that stands out for you at all? I mean, you may not have, because you only do this year, but
in terms of my coaching.
Certainly with 4-3-3, because it's an educational thing as well, isn't it?
I'd like to think I've passed some stuff on to the boys already in terms of mentally what we're after, and a bit of realism as to where they're at the current moment and what it's going to take to get to the next bit if they want to do that. In terms of individuals, I wouldn't say there's a standout one where I could go, oh, I've been part of him doing that. Do you know what I mean? I don't really look at it like that. I'd like to just go, well, you know, I've been a part of their journey. It's not down to me. You know, most lads are going to have God knows how many coaches throughout a short career, a stroke long career. I just like to think that whoever I do coach, I was able to show them I cared about them doing well. And, you know, if I can do that and make them love football and show them exactly what it's going to take to go and play at various levels, and you know, just hopefully pass the desire that they're going to need to be able to have a career.
From your perspective, how does 4-3-3 help players develop? From what you've seen so far?
Like I say, the basics, but taught well. Don't get me wrong, technical, tactical. But the biggest thing is for me in terms of 4-3-3 is, like I've said, unfortunately, most of them aren't going to get to a professional level. That is unfortunately the reality of where we are. But doesn't mean to go and say they can't have a career at a certain level or find certain levels to go and play at and get paid. And it's just showing, for me, I think what we do well at 4-3-3 with the rest of the coaches, Chris, Mitch, Shentz, when he was in, Morgan as well, we're real with them. And we don't feed them a load of crap and go, you should be playing championship already, and it's not like that. We go, well, if you don't do this, you ain't getting to this level, let alone these other levels. And I think a big thing is we make it enjoyable as possible, and like I say, we keep it completely real and honest with them. But like I said, we try and make it as professional as it can be without the professional tag as it would be. And that's the way I always treat every session. I treat these boys as if I was treating, don't get me wrong, there's different ways you teach it and you speak to them, etc. But I try and make it as professional as I can with the boys I've got on whichever day. I think that's what we do really well, not just myself but the other coaches.
Perhaps thinking now about the under-16s who are going to hopefully come in to do the education and the football next year. Because you currently coach them as well on a Friday night, I believe. What role can the parents and families play in supporting their development? Because obviously you know them quite well.
Yeah, I think you know, every parent would love their kid to go and be a professional footballer. I'm no different. But for me, and what I would love to, the education comes before it. And you know, because like I've said, the reality is most of them aren't going to be pros. But if we can teach them, you know, the education side, being a good person, if we can teach them the human element, you know, the educational side, and make them just good human beings, you know, hopefully we teach them stuff about football as well, where they can go and have whatever career. But the biggest thing is they leave 4-3-3 whenever they do, going, I'm a better person and I'm educated. And I think that's the biggest thing. The football will take care of itself in terms of whatever they want to do. But the biggest thing for me personally, and what the other parents, is let them enjoy the football as much as possible, but the education comes before it.
Yeah, absolutely. From your experience, what common mistakes do young players make?
The reality of where they of what it actually takes, and what level they think they're at. That's one thing I've noticed a hell of a lot. Is that
confined to just the players or some of the parents as well?
Both.
Yeah.
Both. And like I said, every parent wants their kid to be a professional footballer, but unfortunately, a lot aren't. A lot aren't.
So we need to open parents' eyes as well.
Yeah,
It's an educational piece on both sides of the divide.
And I think there's people don't really see. I mean, they do, and I'm not even at grassroots level. What parents do, I take my hat off to them all. The travelling, the money, the everything that they have to go through week in, week out, year in, year out. It's unbelievable what parents do. I just think it needs to be. Don't get me wrong, I love parents like when they're competitive and you hear them, it's brilliant. But you got to let kids be kids as well, and you can't take the love away of it. I've seen it too many times where parents can ruin their kids' enjoyment of it, and it's horrible to see because some of these kids aren't bad players at all. You can just tell that just energy's just drained from them, and I think don't get me wrong, it's not every parent. A lot of parents do get it and won't say a word and just let their kids crack on. But you do get the occasional one where it's like, why is my son not here? Why is my son? Because they're not good enough yet. Yet, or they're just not good enough, unfortunately. It's horrible, but that's unfortunately, as we all know, the world can be a horrible place or a cruel place. So I think, especially with something like 4-3-3, just let the kids go and enjoy it. As long as they're on track with the studies and they're punctual, the football stuff will, take care of itself. They can enjoy that.
On that study point, obviously 4-3-3 Football Academy blends full-time football training with formal education. How hard is it to get that blend right?
It is tough because these kids are obviously joining the football side of it because they think, it's going to be football. But I think one thing we do well at 4-3-3 is if they're not up to date with their studies, they don't play with us. They don't train. And I think that's what we've done really well. And these kids, when they have a little moan up because they say, I'm not training well, get your work done. And I think we're quite good at being strict on that. And don't get me wrong, kids are kids when they leave school and they test your patience a little bit. But I do think that's one thing we do so well at 4-3-3 is we don't let these kids get away with it. And, because they will test the waters. They're young lads or girls or whatever it may be. But yeah, it has to come first, especially in the environment and what we're doing day in, day out. But I think it's one thing we excel at as well.
So the academy also places a strong emphasis on sports science, including strength, agility, nutrition, recovery. How can that holistic approach shape a player's progress?
I don't think it's just only a player's progress. I think it's a human progress. I think you've got to be looking to be the healthiest, strongest version of yourself. And the more you can learn and study about that, and you can try things and what adapts to yourself and what you enjoy. Then, but I think it's a case of evolving as a human being, and if you can, match that and marry that with the football side of things or sports side of things, what it might be, that's only going to help you improve. Surely, as a human and an athlete as it might be. So I think it's one of the I think it's a fantastic course. I've been lucky enough to do a PT course and learn all about that, and it's helped me massively in terms of stuff what I should be doing. Do I get it right all the time? No. Do I like certain things? Yeah. But I think once the quicker we can get the understanding of, eating the right foods, stuff we should be doing, sleep is huge, and I think the quicker we can get into these guys and get them learning about it, like I say, it can only benefit them as they get older.
4-3-3 is known to exposing players to professional clubs, sort of abroad as well as here. How do you prepare players mentally and tactically for that?
I keep going back to it. I've said it numerous times. By the reality of what we do it day in day out, and how we coach, the sessions we put on, the way the approach we have to these training sessions, it's all geared for these kids to be physically ready, mentally ready to go and play in hopefully any environment that they might come to, because I get it's different in different countries, etc., in terms of styles and the way they might do things, but it doesn't, for me personally, it doesn't matter at any country, at any level. The values will always come back to, are you willing to work hard? Are you willing to sacrifice? And how much do you want it? That, for me, that's what it will always come down to. And that's not just football, that's life.
Yeah.
That's life. And, you know, I think, like I said, the physical side, you can get players fitter. You can make players technically better. None of that will matter if the mental side isn't there. So we have to, in the right way, prepare these guys for that. Can they handle rejection? Can they handle upsets? What's their attitude like when they do suffer these setbacks? You know, and we have to teach these kids that, because the reality is it's coming. Whether it's good or bad, either way you're going to have to deal with it, because football is 1 minute you can be top of cloud 9, a week later, boom, back down. And if you're not ready for it, then unfortunately you ain't going to get as far as you want to go. And like I said, this is why the elite are the elite, because they make a mistake, boom, gone, forgotten about. Next one. And this is what I'm trying to teach these boys, you know. It's I don't care they make mistakes. I really don't. If they're trying to do the right thing and they learn from that mistake to go, okay, well, I tried this pass last time, right, I'm going to try a different pass because it didn't work. If I see that, perfect. If they keep making the same mistake, well, you haven't got the message. So now I need to go back and say, what is the message? And then they need to retrain that. But for me, you make a mistake, what's your reaction to it? Is your head down? Well then, we need to talk about that. But if you go, no, boom, give me the ball again. Oh, brilliant. Now we're learning. Now you go, there's your courage and everything, and that's all part of the mental side of it. And you know, because it's one of them. For me, coaching is people.
Yeah.
Coaching's people. They ain't going to remember a session I did with them in July. But they might remember a game where they've done something really well and I've gone, that's exactly what I'm after. And it made them feel better about it. And that for me is, I've got to be able to do that. All the technical and physical skills will all come together. But they'll always remember how I made them feel about a game of football.
Yeah.
Or a training session. They ain't going to remember certain bits of it. So if I can have that connection and that transfer to the kids from that will make me the happiest man ever.
Yeah.
And if I see that coming over. So yeah, that for me is coaching.
Excellent. Last couple of questions. 4-3-3 Football Academy is quite successful in terms of the teams it produces in the educational leagues. What makes it stand out? What's different?
I think the homework that Kev has done with recruitment. Some of these boys we've got are good boys that might not have had a chance at certain places. And like I said, the coaching from that, I really do think we do it well here. Do we always get it wrong? No. But I think in terms of what Kev does and the recruitment and, you know, the effort that goes into day-to-day stuff that we do at 433 from everyone, from Kev all the way down to yourself, Jen, everyone. It's all I don't think people see all that side of it. And I think they just go, oh, coach. It's not, the coach is a small part of it. The main stuff happens away from it, it's especially in terms of the education side. And I think, you know, people need to understand that it's not just the football. You know, the education side is probably the biggest part of it. So I think the effort and the care and the attention to detail that we go into is all set up for these lads to hopefully go and progress on and off a football pitch. And yeah, long may it continue.
Yeah. And finally, I said at the beginning, I'm not recording my usual location because we're in Marbella. We're on a football / educational / cultural tour with the boys. How is it gone for you, and how's the matches, and you know, how's
apart from the weather? Yeah. The weather's been a disgrace for the last few days. No, in terms of the games we've been able to play, you know, we doing this podcast obviously after 2 really good results for the under-17s game and the under-19s game, and there's some really good bits from both teams. I was pleased with mainly the attitude and the application, and you know, a lot of these guys, especially in the 17s group, haven't played together. And the biggest thing for me, what I said to both teams before the game was, I just want you to work hard. I want you to work hard and have fun, because at some point one of you is going to make a mistake, and I just want to see reactions from it. I want you to go and work hard. If you're knackered, put your hand up, say I'm knackered, and come off. But no, I thought both teams applied themselves fantastically well, and yeah, it's always nice winning a game of football. So you can see the lads were happy with it as well. But yeah, you know, it's always nice when you can stand there and not have to shout as much at certain points during games, because you can see the lads doing it. And don't get me wrong, I am a shouter on the football pitch, I am. But when you see those little bits where you go, oh, right, I've asked you to do this, you've done it. They're always little bits that I'll remember after games.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's nice coming back to a little bit of sun, and yeah, coming off the back of 2 really good performances from the lads.
Brilliant. Carl, thank you very much.
Oh man, thanks man.
And listeners, hope you enjoyed that, and listen out for the next one. Till the next one. Thank you very much. If you like this podcast, then please email us your questions, comments, random thoughts, anything you want to share with us at greengrassroots@gmail.com. You can contact Mark and Andy through X at Fry Club JFC, on Facebook via Fry Club Junior FC, and the Fry Club website is www.fryclubjfc.co.uk. You could also type out a fantastic review on Apple Podcasts or give us 5 stars on Spotify. You've been listening to a We Haven't Got a Clue What We're Doing production, produced and edited by Andy Glover.